everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from pretty cold Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, 2018 might be over and gone, Dan, but we're going to take another long look at it.
We're just gonna look backwards for a little bit.
Normally we're forward-looking folk, but
normally, yeah. Well,
I guess we're always looking back about a week.
Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
That's true, Dan.
Said somebody.
Someone wise.
Someone wise.
Fairly wise.
Someone who also declared himself to be wise.
I suppose, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, we've got some things happened this week. Dan.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Things that affect people's lives, Dan.
Every week.
Like a new license plate in Mississippi.
Oh.
New design is unveiled going forward. It's being phased in during 2019, and it is their standard license plate.
Okay.
Emblazoned with "In God We Trust."
Sure.
They're doing it, Dan.
Well, everybody's doing it. It's all the rage.
I know, but like here in Utah, it's one of the three standards.
Right.
Not a lot of states have three different versions.
Oh, so
of the
this is the
license plate.
default license
This
plate.
is their default standard one license plate.
Right.
Now, just like most states, they have specialty car plates or specialty plates, right, that you can opt into and pay more for.
Right.
But so if you don't want "In God We Trust" on the back of your car, which I wouldn't,
Right.
In Mississippi or anywhere for that matter, but if I lived in Mississippi, I would be opting to pay more.
Well, yeah.
To get out of it. And that's a tax on atheism, Dan. That's what that is. It's bullshit.
It is a tax on atheism.
And I can't handle it. Apparently, get this. This is lovely. This tells you a lot about Mississippi, actually.
Yeah.
The standard Mississippi license plate is redesigned every few years. Do you know why they swap it out?
No.
It's a way of catching people who just completely 100% fail to pay their annual renewal fees.
Oh,
that's what that little sticker's for.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
like
the state of Utah just we have a sticker that we put on there that says the year.
That's like everywhere.
Yeah.
Or most places have some form of that.
They just redesign the whole damn plate.
It's a great expense. It's like,
yeah.
Why would you do that?
Oh, there you go.
That's just moronic.
I mean, it makes them fancy.
Yeah. The last one had B.B. King on it.
They went from B.B. King to God?
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
he was kind of a guitar god, so there you go.
Well, and they're upset. There are some people other than atheists who are upset about the new license plate.
Oh, really?
Because they say it's lopsided. They're upset.
Oh.
They're like, that's not symmetrical.
It isn't symmetrical.
Yeah.
They've got a... So I guess that's
the great seal. That's the seal of the state, and it has "In God We Trust."
Okay. So
right.
So that's like sort of
there. Yeah.
In the seal. So it's not prominently displayed.
I know, but it is there, Dan. I wouldn't want it there.
No. It is there. You're right. But yes, it is lopsided. They've basically got the name of the state centered at the top of the thing, and then below it and to the left,
slightly to the left,
is the seal with letters and numbers and whatnot. Well, that's dumb, and they're dumb and dumb.
But I will tell you what Mississippi has done right.
Okay,
and I mean they've really done it right. It is the typesetting for the name of the state.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that, Dan.
They've taken their S's and made them all linked up and swirly and stuff. It's nice.
That is sexy. Somebody earned their commission on that one.
Yeah, that's nice.
Dear God, look at that.
Okay, we're going to move on. I'm going to take us to Egypt. Let me ask you something. Do you have any plans for Christmas?
2019?
Yeah. Next week. This week.
Christmas this week?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. What are you doing for Christmas Eve? Because Christmas Eve.
Are they on a different?
For the Copts, they are on the Julian Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
No, we're on the Julian.
We're on the Gregorian.
We're on the Gregorian. They're still on the Julian calendar. That's
Yeah.
right.
Named
and
after
therefore,
Jules Verne.
yes, correct. Famous
Sci-fi
writer of
fantasy novelist.
Exactly. Named after Julius Caesar.
Oh,
right.
That makes more sense.
But yes, their Christmas is on January 6th, or their Christmas Eve is January 6th, and the feasts of Christmas Day are January 7th.
I love it.
Yeah.
2 Christmases. What if your mom was Copt and your dad was Roman Catholic?
Great.
That's awesome.
You get all the
You
presents.
get 2 Christmases.
Yeah. You got to make sure that they divorce so that, or maybe you don't. Maybe you can just have 2 Christmases.
Yeah.
RNS had a cute little feature about it, but apparently in a town called El Koshe in Egypt, which calls itself Little Jerusalem.
How cute.
It's a lot of Coptic Christians there. They're thinking of shifting, of capitulating to the rest of the Christian world.
No.
And going to December 24th and 25th.
Why they shouldn't have to be the ones to change?
Everybody else should change.
Everybody else should change.
To them.
Yeah.
No, they're thinking that they're thinking of it as a sign of Christian unity.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Right. Whatever.
Well, I think, imagine being a Coptic child and whatever Coptic Santa looks like. He's going to all of these other kids' houses a couple weeks before he comes to yours.
Yeah.
They all know what they're getting.
Well, do they celebrate it the same way? Or is it
No.
just super boring?
No, not really.
Just about church?
I don't know. It's probably just a feast day or whatever. I don't know much about it. I do know that the Western traditions of Christmas have started finding their way in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, and part of it is that, like, ever since the year January of 2000, when there was a huge clash with the Muslims, and it was a very devastating battle.
Yeah.
They've started to look toward the West for some Christmas fun, including but not limited to a tree. Which, let me tell you something, that area of Egypt, not easy to find a nice looking evergreen.
Probably not.
So
Cypress? Are they using cypress?
They've been finding some trees. They've been looking for them. I think they also have some falsies, some fake
Or
trees.
cedars. I'm thinking of cedars.
Yes, go over to Lebanon. Go to your neighbors. Grab yourself a cedar. Anyway, they're working on it. They're who knows? They may just join the rest of Christianity like a bunch of suckers.
Yeah.
But anyway, have Merry Christmas, everybody.
Conformity.
Right?
Oh, my God. Well done. Well done, Copts. Dan. Oh, dear God.
Yes.
Jerry Falwell Jr.
Oh, God. I don't think anything good has ever...
Three words
striking
that
fear
are going to
in the
lead
heart.
into something bad.
Yeah.
President of Liberty University, son of Jerry Falwell.
Yeah.
The great
televangelist.
political televangelist who probably in large part got the whole like Christian right thing.
Yeah, he was a big,
really moving.
Right. And Junior's done a really good job of combining politics and his stupid evangelical Christianity.
God. Yeah. So anyway, over there at the Washington Post, I believe it was.
WAPO.
I believe that's where I got this from. I'm going to say
he just made this up, you guys.
I found this.
He's just making things up at this point.
It could be from anywhere. Anyway, he sat down with a journalist by the name of Joe Heim. That much I do know.
Okay, great. Go Joe.
And for a little interview. So this is actually the article I'm looking at is presented as one of those Q&A things, right?
Sure.
The question is in bold. His response is in just a plain typeface.
Not bold.
Not bold. Anywho, questions like you recently said that conservatives and Christians should stop electing nice guys. Aren't Christians supposed to be nice guys?
That's a great question.
That's actually a good question. He says, of course, but that's where people get confused. I almost laugh out loud when I hear Democrats saying things like, Jesus said, suffer the little children to come unto me.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, those damned fools.
Idiots.
And try to use that as a reason we should open up our borders.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
That is a reason to do that.
Well,
but he also said things like,
I think just general goodness and kindness.
Jesus literally said, take care of the foreigner.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't have to use suffer the children. You can go straight to the whole take care of foreigners thing.
Right. Well, he has this whole thing. He gets into
but he thinks that's laughable too.
Well, he does, because he's basically, his whole point is that Jesus never told Caesar how to run Rome. Right? That there are two kingdoms, Dan.
Yeah.
There's the heavenly kingdom and there's the earthly kingdom. And basically, the heavenly kingdom, you have to be charitable and good and kind, and it's to your neighbors and people that are immediately around you. Mm-hmm. It is not the nation. The nation,
once you get to politics, fuck you.
Basically, yeah, right. But so like he's going through this whole thing, and it's like he says it's such a distortion of the teachings of Jesus to say that what he taught us to do personally, to love our neighbors as ourselves, help the poor, can somehow be placed upon the nation.
Oh my God. Yeah. Last thing you should use is like your greatest teacher's teachings when it comes to anything other than like how you treat Susie across the street.
Well, but I just like, I'm sitting there and I'm reading this whole thing and I'm like, what about goddamned abortion then?
Yeah.
You like, oh, it's good for immigration, but it's not good for abortion?
Sure.
Like, how far does this go?
Gay policies?
Exactly. They would love, they love to legislate however they can on moral issues. And then on what? When it's fucking convenient. And that's the one thing this journalist never
calls him on
is that that they're being very selective.
Right.
And so the question is, so the government you want is one free of religious association? And he goes, yes. The government should be led by somebody who is going to do what's in the best interest of the government and its people. And I believe that's what Jesus taught too.
Wow. He wants a secular government.
Yeah.
Great.
He so wants a secular government.
We 100% believe you, Jerry. That makes total sense, and it's consistent with everything that you've said.
Yeah.
We totally buy it.
So then he moves on to Donald Trump.
Oh, yes. Whom he has been a great supporter of.
Absolutely. And so he asks, what about Trump exemplifies Christianity and earns him your support?
How about his hypocrisy? Is that it?
Well, yeah. And he doesn't even address the he says what earns him my support is his business acumen.
Oh, well, yeah, he's been such a great businessman.
I know.
That's
right?
hard to deny.
Our country was so deep in debt and so mismanaged by career politicians that we needed someone who was not a career politician, but someone who's been successful in business to run the country like a business. That's the reason I supported him. Yeah, fuck off.
Thank God he's here, because our debt is doing so great right now.
I know.
The national debt has just plummeted since he arrived.
It is up, actually, should anybody be...
Yeah, you can go ahead and look those figures up if you want to.
And it is up. And the journalist actually points this out. He says the deficit and debt have increased during Trump's first 2 years. And he goes, yeah, Congress, the spending bill they forced on him in order to get the military spending up to where it needed to be. He said that would be the last time he signed one of those, but he had no choice because Obama had decimated the military and it had to be rebuilt.
Oh, my God.
Which is just fucking ludicrous.
Right.
Obama's spending on military was higher than George W. Bush's.
Right. Yeah, right. We've got a bloated military that's twice the size of. I mean, it's bigger than
like the next 13 militaries combined,
right.
Or something like that.
Yeah, we don't need this. We could cut it in half right now and be safe.
Right. Absolutely.
But oh well.
And then here's the kicker. Here's what made the headline, Dan. Is there anything President Trump could do that would endanger that support from you and other evangelical leaders? And he goes, no.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, is it
Wow.
hypocritical for evangelical leaders to support a leader who has advocated violence and who has committed adultery and lies often?
Yeah.
I understand that a person can be forgiven for their sins, but should that person be leading the country? This is amazing. I'm going to read the entire first paragraph because it's absolutely fucking amazing.
Okay.
When Jesus said we're all sinners, he really meant all of us, everybody. I don't think you can choose a president based on their personal behavior, because even if you choose the one that you think is the most decent, let's say you decide Mitt Romney, nobody could be a more decent human being, better family man, but there might be things that he's done that we just don't know about. So you don't choose a president based on how good they are. You choose a president based on what their policies are.
Oh, my God.
That's why I don't think it's hypocritical.
Anybody want to look up what he had to say about President Clinton's philandering when he was...
kidding.
Oh, my God. You fucking liar.
And then this is amazing. So this is Falwell still talking. Why have Americans been able to do more to help people in need around the world than any other country in history? It's because of free enterprise, freedom, ingenuity, entrepreneurism, and wealth. A poor person never gave anyone a job. A poor person never gave anybody charity, not of any real volume. It's just common sense to me.
Wow.
This is a bad man.
That is a horrible human.
He is a horrible, horrible human being.
Wow.
No poor person has ever given charity.
Wow. Well, you know what? Not of anything. Not he.
Real value.
No.
Taking care of your ailing neighbor. You hear stories like that all the time. You know these people, right?
It's not like the Bible has its own parable about a poor person giving a tiny, tiny amount and that being more valuable than what all the rich people gave. It's not like that's a parable from the Lord Jesus' mouth himself that this guy would know about.
Right.
Oh, my God. It's impressive.
Yeah.
When you can hold that level of hypocrisy and just revel in it.
Oh, yeah.
Just grab onto it, ride it like a goddamn motorcycle out of hell. That is impressive.
Yeah. It's good. It's really amazing.
Woo! All right. I am fired up all of a sudden. That is...
Well, I hope you're leading into something where you can really utilize it, Dan.
I'm leading into something awful. Well, something interesting anyway. We talked back in October, you may recall, about a temple in India, in the state of Kerala in India, where the Supreme Court of India ruled that women were to be allowed.
Wow, yeah. I do remember this.
This was it
was that long ago, October.
Yes. Right. The Sabarimala temple, nailed it.
So good, Dan.
And they had a rule that if you were of an age where you could bear children, that would be distracting to the god that the temple was dedicated to.
Right.
So no ladies between the ages of like 14 and 50 or something like that.
Right.
If you can bleed, you got to leave, or whatever. I don't think they actually used that sentence, but they should have.
They should have.
It should have been just sort of a sign over the door.
Come back after menopause.
That's right. So there was this court ruling, and they were supposed to be let in, but there were these riots, and a couple women they tried to go in, and they were prevented, and they'd rather close the goddamn temple than let these women in, and whatever, and blah blah blah. Anyway, they snuck some women in, finally.
Oh my!
And it was a bit of a do.
Oh,
they had a bit of a do about it.
Okay. Some negative reactions.
Two women, sort of before dawn, went in with a couple of plainclothes police, and once word got out, rioting. There was riots in the streets.
Like literal riots?
Like literal riots in the streets. They closed the temple so that they could do purification rituals.
Oh, dear God.
To purify it. And yes, literal riots in the streets. But here's what else was in the streets. A human chain, which is apparently a thing that they do in India as a form of protest.
Okay.
Mostly women standing shoulder to shoulder along highways in southern India, creating a wall 300 miles long.
What?
Party officials say that this was organized by the Communist Party, which is the major party in Kerala.
Okay.
They say that it was 5.5 million people standing
Holy cow.
in a line.
And this was in support of women going in.
Yeah. Yeah, this was standing for equality for women.
You know what we were missing? Do you remember Hands Across America?
Yes, because we're old.
What we were missing.
Did you participate? Did you go and stand in a line?
And
and
we
hold
weren't
hands?
near the line.
I wasn't near the line either.
Yeah. But I would have. I thought it was fascinating.
Did they actually do it? Did they actually complete an entire
No, they
chain?
didn't.
No,
they didn't. Sadly, I think there were some like the Olympic torch, like relay, like somebody like they didn't actually physically touch the next person's hand while holding the other person's hand,
but they'd run from one chain to the next and high five. Done.
Hands Across America.
We did it.
But what we were missing clearly was Indians.
We needed
to import.
Here's what you need:
people in large numbers.
Yeah. In a country of over 1 billion,
and have them ticked off about something.
5.5 million. Psh, barely even a tick on the old radar.
Kidding. Wow. That's you can't get like the 1 million person march, whatever. Like it's all like it's in theory.
Any million blank march that happens in the United States has 5,000 people in it.
More than that. They'll have hundreds of thousands of people at these things.
Most of them have about 5. I think most of them are tiny little things. They're like the million man march for male freedoms, and then it's like 16 guys show up, and then
yeah,
and we all make fun of them.
Yeah,
because they're ding-dongs.
They hold hands and sing the Hands Across America anthem.
I don't think that's what that group did, but Oh boy! So doings in India. This whole Indian Supreme Court just meddling in the temples.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
It is very interesting, and they keep doing it. There's something going on in India, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
like they're like homosexuality being decriminalized and.
Yeah, I mean,
so forth and so on.
And
they're really
women's rights are slowly starting to happen. I mean, both women's rights and homosexuality. It's still like the dangerous place in the world to be a woman. To be and you don't want to be gay there.
No, absolutely. But like the government seems to be taking very important strides.
Yeah,
and steps toward kind of. Modernizing
and sometimes questionable strides and steps, but there you go.
Yeah, of course,
they're doing it.
I mean, it's a government. It's not going to be perfect,
right?
All right, Dan.
Okay,
this is a really interesting story for me because it's highlighting something that I was unaware of, and I was kind of a little shocked by. Due to a change in law in New South Wales, down in Australia.
Yes.
Sex abuse victims can now sue churches.
Oh, good.
They were not able to before.
Right. They just sue the priest himself or something?
Yeah. You couldn't go after the organization.
Right.
Because, and this is how the article phrases it, because you couldn't sue a church because they didn't legally exist.
Oh, it wasn't an entity
that could be sued.
Okay,
right,
great.
That's
idiots.
Very. Well, apparently, churches and the property of churches are all held in trust in some fashion.
Yeah, it's like a tax-free sort of thing,
something or other. Yeah. Not like in the United States where it's like some like corporation owned by the church that owns everything and
whatever
blah or however they've structured themselves. That's how Mormons have structured themselves.
Still doesn't have to pay taxes on a lot of it. But.
No, absolutely not. But nonetheless, this is all part of the Cardinal, George Pell.
Yeah.
His thing.
Yeah.
There was Father
To
Aidan
reiterate,
Duggan.
all of you down in Australia, Cardinal George Pell was convicted of child molestation in your country. You don't know about it because they're not allowed to tell you, but we're telling you. So
there you go. But nonetheless, this guy, John Ellis, a former altar boy who was sexually abused at the age of 13 by his parish priest by the name of Father Aidan Duggan.
That just sounds wrong. That guy's definitely going to be a molesty priest. Father Aidan
He's
Duggan.
Aidan Duggan.
I don't know why.
Whatever that is. Whatever that means.
Aidan abetting.
So, anyway, Ellis sued Duggan and the trustees of the Roman Catholic Church for the Archdiocese of Sydney, as well as Cardinal George Pell.
Yeah.
But the New South Wales Court of Appeals found Pell and the trustees were not proper defendants in the proceedings.
Whoa.
It ruled the trustees didn't control Duggan and weren't responsible for his conduct and couldn't be sued.
Oh, sons of bitches.
In the way that, any organization is responsible for, people in their employ or people like you just are, right? Well, the new laws are doing away with that sort of rule or that interpretation of the law.
Do you know if it's retroactive? Can people who have previously been barred from suing go back and sue now?
I don't know how that would work. I would assume they probably could go, because the article does talk about, a lot of the people, a lot of the victims of this kind of abuse are now aging to the point where they may not actually bring a suit forward.
Right.
This was, probably 20-ish years ago that this suit was initially
dismissed,
filed and dismissed and everything.
Yeah.
So this is a huge deal. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
And this is important. The whole point of being able to sue the organization is that now these trustees can be and have the responsibility of being watchdogs.
Right. Yeah.
Right. If they're going to be held responsible, if the organization is legitimately going to be held responsible.
Yeah, they can't just hang the guy out to dry and call it a day.
Yeah, So now there's going to be systems in place that protect and shield the organization, and that means actually dealing with problem priests.
I mean, we'll see.
Well, it's what should happen.
Right, yeah, because that's theoretically how it works here, too. But,
No, I know.
So, we'll see. Well, I want to talk about a religion. I talked about sort of feminist doings and goings on in India. Mm-hmm. I'm going to talk about feminist doings and goings on right here in these United States.
Yeah.
Right here in Utah.
Oh my God, feminists in Utah?
Let me tell you something. You know that feminist institution, that pinnacle of pro-woman policy.
Now.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, yeah, that
the
one.
Mormons. You know those guys?
Sure.
Well, they actually did, they made some pretty, okay, this, I don't know how this will sound to someone who was never Mormon, who was never really familiar. But to my Mormon sensibilities, growing up in the Mormon church, this feels like a ground shift.
Okay, so what did they do?
Two things. The funniest thing, this part doesn't feel like a ground shift, but it is kind of funny and interesting. Lady missionaries can now wear pants. Trousers on the ladies and gentlemen. It is real. It is happening.
Oh, God. Oh, that says so much.
Right? I mean, maybe they're 40 years behind the times, but they're wearing trousers now.
Trousers, but they do have to be floral print trousers.
Right. No. Those are not allowed.
No?
Because, don't kid yourself, this is the Mormons. They are strict about what pants you can wear and what you cannot wear. Ladies. Actually, it's
strict
not about
enough to the point that there's basically no pants that can be worn.
Oh, no. There are
just
some well, here, let me it's easier to talk about what you cannot wear.
Okay.
And then see what you've got left. Do not wear dress slacks that are too tight, that are cropped above the ankle, or that touch the floor. They should fit well, not too tight or too loose, and be in solid conservative colors. Dress slacks and skirts should not be transparent, revealing, casual, wrinkled, sloppy, or faddish.
Oh my God. Faddish?
No fads.
Oh God.
Do not wear floor-length skirts, pantsuits, or baggy or skinny style slacks.
Oh my God.
Middle style.
Let me tell you. Yeah.
Don't. So there you go.
That's rough. That's brutal.
That's phase one.
Okay.
Of Mormons becoming
so feminist.
So it's all worked, ladies. Congratulations. All of your hard work has come through.
So I would assume if the lady missionaries, which is such a great term,
the sister missionaries, please.
Thank you. Yeah, much better. If the sister missionaries can now wear slacks, they still do have to wear dresses to church, I assume.
They do.
Yeah. Okay.
In point of fact, they have to wear dresses. Skirts or dresses are required for church services, for
temple,
like the meetings at any sort of conference meetings or anything like that.
Right.
All that sort of thing. And the ostensible reason that they're saying women can wear slacks is that out in, I don't know if you know this, but if you go into some of the more rural parts of this world, they're sending these women to places like Africa and South America and whatever. Things can bite you and give you a disease.
Oh.
Like, you don't want the malaria or whatever. So this is a measure to keep those legs from getting diseased in part. Okay, but I'm moving on.
Great. Okay.
The next
Wonderful.
thing is actually this is the tectonic shift, which is the mormon-temple ceremony. Has changed.
What?
And it's
like once in a generation.
And it's big. Like these are real changes.
Okay.
So you'll recall that when you went to the temple as a young Mormon man, you watched a movie. There's a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Or in two of the temples in Mormondom, there's a live reenactment,
which is horrifying,
which is awful, of sort of early Genesis of the creation.
It's creation and the Adam and Eve story.
Right. Well, Eve got her some lines in the new movie.
What?
Yeah. Not only that, it's shorter.
They gave her lines and it's shorter. What did they take out?
I don't know, bunch of the bullshit maybe. Here's the thing. The church itself, their big announcement was, we've made some changes. They said nothing else. Except to very clearly state that changes have been made to this to the temple ceremony since the beginning, and they will continue forever because God reveals things to his servants line upon line and blah blah blah. To assuage the fears of all of the members who were like, you can't change that. Yeah. But they do change it regularly. They're right about that.
Yeah.
And only 20 to 40 years behind the times. So Eve has lines.
Great.
And this is the real thing. Women now make the same covenants in the temple that men make, including no longer saying, I will hearken unto my husband as he hearkens unto God. Now all of the covenants are to God rather than women's covenants being to their husbands and then to God.
So basically the women of this world have progressed far enough now that God is like, you're ready.
I'll talk to her.
to come and talk to me directly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you make your covenants with me now.
Yeah.
Hey, lady.
I'll talk to you, babe. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so before, women had this go-between.
Yeah.
Which was
their husband.
Or if they were an old maid, they could go through their bishop or whatever.
Now, what about the calling forth at the first resurrection?
Oh, I think that's all the same.
So the Lord resurrects the man, and the man resurrects the woman. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's just delegation of tasks.
Well, it saves the Lord, a lot of work.
What's the Lord going to do? Just call everybody forth all at once? Like, oh, wait, he could do that. That would be easy.
Arise, my children.
Right. Ding dong, and you're done. Nope, he's still doing that. But yes, the ladies are now.
So the man knows his wife's secret name, but she doesn't know his.
Well, that part is still true.
Boy,
that part's
still not all worked out.
Nope. But let me tell you something. Mormons are going apeshit, and what's funny is that the Mormons who are talking about it are getting in trouble with the Mormons who think that it's too sacred to talk about.
Right,
and
of course.
There's a lot of sniping at each other.
I bet. Yeah.
The Mormons no, don't talk about it. But I'm so excited about it. But we don't talk about the temple. But we want to talk about the temple.
Right.
A lot of that stuff.
Well, yeah, and what's funny is how excited Mormons were when they found out that they weren't going to have to do 3 hours of church and only do 2.
Right.
And now they've shaved a half hour off the temple thing. It's like any time that the Lord is giving them a little bit more or making them sit through his crap less.
Yes.
They're so excited.
Of course they are.
And it's if this was good, if this was truly if there was a God and this was his church and this is what he had laid out, and wouldn't it just be amazing? Wouldn't it be the best thing? Wouldn't you just desire and crave those 3 hours every Sunday?
Man.
Wouldn't you just wouldn't you be disappointed that you get that you now spend a half hour less at the temple?
Oh.
If it was so amazing and so awesome, you'd be sad that it's being taken away.
Man, the dissonance that goes on with all of this stuff is outrageous. Although I will say that I feel like I get the mentality that me being tortured is somehow spiritually good. That was what I was raised with, was this horrible nightmare of 3 hours of church that we go to every week.
Right.
It's that sort of Mother Teresa, this torture makes us better people sort of thing.
Right, but now there's less torture, so the people aren't as good.
Yeah, somehow it's wrong. It's bad.
Yeah.
The other thing about all these changes is that I've been seeing feminist Mormons, which
they do exist.
I guess that's not a contradiction in terms, question mark. I've been seeing feminist Mormons say, finally I feel vindicated. Finally the Lord has shown that he loves me as much as he loves my husband, blah, blah, blah. And, I read one account where this woman was saying that, she was thinking of leaving the church because she just felt so unheard and so,
and now she's going to stay?
And now she's going to stay?
Oh, come on.
Look, if this strengthens your testimony of the church, what have you been doing this whole time? This is very clearly, this is so far behind the times. This is so, if this church were true, either this would have happened when the rest of the world woke up to this fact.
Right.
Or it would have been the case the whole time.
Right.
Not.
Isn't it funny that the church is, again, if the person leading the church was actually in contact with some kind of God who knew where things were going, don't you think they'd actually be ahead of the curve socially and culturally?
Well,
do you think they'd be the most advanced people around? And people would just be shaking their heads the whole time, just damn, those Mormons, they just got it figured out.
Yeah.
They're so progressive.
Well, everybody be mad about them, and then when the world caught up to them, be like, wow, they were right about that.
They were right about that. They were right.
I don't know how they do it.
Goddamn Mormons.
I don't know how they do it. They're always
ahead of the
so
curve.
Far ahead of us.
Yeah.
We all thought it was crazy for them to think that homosexuality was okay. But
Right.
now we figured it out, and my God, they were right the whole time.
Yeah. Instead, it's all these leftist elites that are pulling and dragging everybody, kicking and screaming along.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like the Lord's people, like, have to be dragged along.
The Lord himself has to be dragged on.
Yeah,
He's the
exactly.
last one on board.
He's like,
every single
wait,
time.
What? Oh, man, women's lib.
That can't
when
be right.
When did that happen?
That can't be right. Nope. Nope. I'm not gonna. Nope. Gays? No. Can't be them. Nope. Well. All right.
Oh, I guess they are my children, too.
Fine.
Oof.
All right. Well, if you want to be dragged kicking and screaming into some religious thought, you can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yep. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on that like button.
And while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group,
Yeah.
but we'll let you in. Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember back in biblical times how some men lived to crazy ages?
Ripe old ages of 969
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, like all of those.
Methuselah and
Yeah.
Noah was 700 or whatever.
They lived forever.
Oh my God.
Because they were doing the Lord's work. They were prophets.
They were
Right.
And also they ate paleo, all of them. So you live so much longer. I don't know if you know that. They had they had lots of kombucha and
did they?
chia and
No.
and
Really? They did?
kale. Lots of kale.
I love kale.
Quinoa was a big thing for them.
I absolutely love quinoa.
So
Holy crap. All this stuff. So good. Especially smothered in butter,
oh yeah.
heavy cream.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, yeah, we got a fella who's
Kenneth Copeland. The name I didn't really recognize when we were listening to this earlier, Dan, when you played it for me. But now that I see his face, I know who he is.
He's a Cabbage Patch Kid.
televangelist. He's a televangelist in a tux.
Yeah,
I will say
he's an old man.
Yeah,
He's
and he is
into his 80s, and but he thinks he's going to keep going.
Yeah. So let's take a listen.
Yeah.
I want to tell you something the Lord said to me. I've gone into a very how can I say this, Lord? More than just a little exercise program. And I'm in very serious training. Praise God. I'm working out hard. And and I heard this. He said, Kenneth, I sacrificed my body for yours. He said, now you are sacrificing your body for mine. I didn't want to do that. But then I have a mandate before me. Should the Lord tarry, I will live and preach this gospel till I'm 120 years old. There's no in between here. And you can't do that sitting around doing nothing. I tried, that don't work. Amen.
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 120.
That is kind of the cap. 120 just seems to be kind of the cap, doesn't it?
Well, for now, I mean the scientists, the medical people, they're all predicting that the first person to live to like 150 may have already been born.
My God.
But it ain't
That's a
that
long
guy.
time.
I'll tell you this, it ain't that guy.
But okay, so there's one thing about living to be 150. Yeah, it's not him.
Yeah.
Like, are these going to be quality years, or are they just going to be like...
Well, he's going to be preaching the whole time.
Is it going to be like 80 years of geriatric care?
How much does right? How much does this 100% smack of a man going, don't turn away from my show. You guys keep watching my show. Don't start asking who's going to take over after me. Well, don't you guys start asking that question. It's me forever.
Yeah, for the next 38 years.
For longer than you're going to live, 30-year-old person.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. Because the Lord wants me here. I got an important message, and I've got more jets to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the jet guy, right?
Oh, I'm sure he's one of them.
No, the one that has like 5 jets or whatever was asking for more.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the private jet guys. He may not be the one that I'm thinking of, but I know that dude.
Well, he did say at one point that he had the power, that God gave him the power to heal corroded airplanes. That's a line from, I'm looking at Friendly Atheist. Hemmant said apparently he had a multi-million-dollar private jet, and he blessed it that it would never corrode.
That's so stupid.
He healed the plane, goddammit. He healed the plane.
This man, oh my God.
I wanted to play, it was only like 5 seconds long, but there was another video that Hemmant had posted of a little kid that they had given the microphone to, a little black kid in the black church, and he got up and they handed him the microphone. Now they have learned a valuable lesson about handing a microphone to like a 6-year-old. Mm-hmm. He said something along the lines of, "I'm bored of this church," and left. Mic
out
drop.
The side door.
Just done.
Well, kids tell the truth.
Yeah.
Or at least they say what's on their mind.
They definitely say what's on their mind.
They may not tell the truth. Actually, they're little liars. But
they're a bunch of fucking liars for sure. But if they're bored, they'll tell you.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Goodness gracious.
Well, Dan.
We had some folks write into us.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff.
did.
Should we? I'm going to read a thing.
Okay.
We had a few interesting missives, I thought. This is from Eben, who says, "Hi, Frank and Dan. Hope the new year is treating you well. The story about the fake priest," do you remember we talked about a fake priest?
Yeah, I love the fake priest.
I want more of them. Reminded me of something my mom told me that I thought you'd enjoy. When my parents got married, they had a civil ceremony with a justice of the peace due to the fact that neither of them was very Catholic at the time, and I was due to make my appearance in only 6 months.
Ah.
Naughty. Anyway, a few years later, when my mom got into her Catholic groove, she decided this thing. She did this thing where you can write to the Pope and he'll bless your marriage. Ah. They hung the certificate you get in the house and figured that was enough. I mean, the Pope said they were good, right? When I was 12, my mom brought it to our parish priest to double-check that it was sufficient after a comment he made in passing. Our priest was aghast. "One of our most active families, and you aren't even married," he exclaimed.
What?
He quickly got my parents in, and they did a quick Catholic ceremony so that they could be really married.
Oh, my God.
So technically, in the eyes of the Catholic Church, not only myself, but 2 of my 3 younger siblings are illegitimate children.
Bastards!
And my extremely Catholic mother was living in sin for years.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's so sad. Anyway, Eben says, "I think it's kind of funny, and to this day, my mom claims the Pope's blessing should have been counted, what with him being the boss."
Oh, my God, funny.
Yeah. There you go.
I've got another Catholic story over here.
Oh, we'll do that one then. That sounds good.
Well, this is coming to us by way of voicemail. Yeah, let's have a listen. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank and Dan. This is Michael from Akron, Ohio. I wanted to help continue your education in Catholic trivia with something that I just learned over the holidays. My dad is Roman Catholic, but my mom grew up in a different branch, and it's called Byzantine Catholic. As the name implies, it was popularized in the eastern portions of the Roman Empire originally. There are all kinds of arcane differences between the two that I won't go into, but the important thing to know is that the Byzantine Catholic Church of today actually falls under the jurisdiction of the Roman Catholic Pope. Since the Byzantine Church is pretty small and it's mostly based in Europe, most priests who serve in the U.S. actually come from Europe. The talk this Christmas was about how the current priest at their local parish was very suddenly recalled to Europe. Apparently, the Byzantine bishop told immigration officials to revoke his visa so he would be forcibly deported because he was actually stealing money from his parishes. At one point, my dad says, well, he had a wife and kids back home, so he was probably doing it for them. But this was news to me. It turns out that Byzantine priests are actually allowed to get married. This also brought to light that Roman Catholic priests are probably prohibited from marrying because the church would actually have to pay priests to get married more so they could support their families. And it's actually probably not based at all in some obscure theological reason like they publicly say. By the way, if you ever want to get into the weeds about weird Catholic shit that you probably didn't know about, feel free to ask. I'd be happy to oblige.
Well, thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. That is interesting, and we did not fact check that at all, but that's fascinating. Byzantine Catholic.
Yeah, well, there's. We did look up. The fact that there's like 6,000 of them.
Yeah, there's not a lot of them
worldwide,
and I don't even know if I was looking. I don't know. That's crazy, and I love that. What happens if you steal is that the bishop just says, maybe don't renew that. We'll just revoke his visa. I know. Apparently it's probably just a work visa.
Yeah.
That as his employer he's
sponsored.
They can yeah. There you go.
He needs to shift gears, go Lutheran, get sponsored again.
That's right. Yeah. Go Lutheran. It's the way to get your visa, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, Frank and Dan. This is from an atheist named Christian.
Christian.
Christian's referring to we talked a little bit about the tax laws in Germany and how they pull your tithing directly from your taxes and give that to the thing. We have a similar tax law here in Switzerland, says Christian.
Okay.
The government collects church taxes. Until about 10 years ago, you could become non-religious by filling out your tax declaration. You just had to make a check in the box that you're non, and you would automatically stop being a member of the church. The state would inform your church about it, and they had to let you go.
What?
Great system.
If that's the structure of the whole thing, beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. Okay.
But then the churches insisted that this had to be changed, and the state did it. So it's not possible to, quote, silently exit the church, as they call it, anymore. Now you have to write a letter to your pastor. Although this is pretty easy, and there are even freethinker groups that provide atheists with a form to print, it's still a hurdle that a lot of people are not willing to take, so they just pay.
Ugh. No!
Yeah.
Why would you just pay?
Because it's hard to... I think for a lot of people, the psychological... jump of actually facing down the person that's been your family's pastor for whatever blah 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 years or whatever, or actually writing a letter to the church. It's just a lot for a lot of people.
Wow.
So
all right.
There you go.
Okay.
No easy outs for you, Swiss. You got to have it hard like the rest of us.
Yeah. All right.
And finally, Rabbi Gruber has some pushback for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we, last week, you'll recall, tried to tell everybody to make their resolution to come out as atheist, or to find a step that they can take that's a little more out and whatever.
Sure, why not?
Atheist.
Yeah.
Well, Rabbi Gruber says, I wanted to push back a little on the end of today's episode. It really depends on your faith. Belief in God is central to the Christian faith. It is arguably not so in my faith. Maimonides codified the 13 principal beliefs of my faith. He lived in the 11th and 12th centuries CE. That would be about 2,500 years after Moses supposedly lived. And once you delve into the 13 principles, even Maimonides didn't fully accept every detail of them. Certainly his contemporaries did not. Central to our faith is action, not belief. The Orthodox standard is religious observance. We ask, are you a keeper of the Sabbath? If so, you are accepted as a full-fledged member of the community. If not, you may not be eligible to be counted for a prayer quorum. We may not be allowed to eat in your home. You may not serve as a witness. We will bury you in a different part of the cemetery.
Oh, my.
Yeah. This is intense.
Don't mess around.
You don't have to believe in God, but God, what are you doing on Friday? You motherfucker. Saturday, Friday night. Because if you're not doing it right, look, you don't have to believe in God, but if you don't light a candle to him, fuck off. He goes on, this is why people like me are referred to in the Orthodox world as and I'm going to nail the pronunciation of this word.
Okay.
Derech? It's a CH at the end. I'm going to say that's a ch.
Sure.
That's what we're going with.
Yeah, sounds good.
Derech means path. It means that we no longer follow the path set by the traditional Orthodox Judaism.
Okay.
If there is a belief that we reject that is at the core of our new path, it is that the Torah, written and oral, it was not given by God and therefore has no authority over our lives. This is also why people like me refer to ourselves as secular Jews as opposed to our religious brethren from Reform to Orthodox. So stating out loud that you are an atheist may in fact make sense to a former Christian. To a Jew, not so much. It's really incidental. An interesting pushback. But I think I shall push back against your pushback, Rabbi Gruber. Because I think it may be incidental to your Judaism, which coming from a Christian perspective, from a Mormon Christian perspective, that feels impossible.
Right.
Like you say that the rest of the Jews are fine with you not believing in God, but somebody in me is you calling bullshit on just that. But fine, I'll take you at your word. Fine. What I do need to say though is that societally, not religiously, but societally, it's important for people to hear that you don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Our society is so God-focused and God-centric, and it's okay that you're a Jew because you believe in your Jew God. No, you don't. And it's important to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Not because of who you are, not because it defines your religious identity,
Right.
but because it helps other people who are having trouble who are atheist.
Right.
And that's, I think, what our point was trying to be, wasn't it? Or at least part of it?
Part of it, yeah. Because, we were also focused a lot on sort of family relations and friendships and whatnot. And,
right.
If you come from a certain tradition or background, chances are your family is made up of that same kind of group, right? So, coming from Mormonism, telling your Mormon mother that you don't believe in God anymore, she's going to be really, really, really sad.
Yeah.
But so we were talking a lot in those kind of contexts,
right?
And so for him Rabbi Gruber to say that it wouldn't make sense in some ways to those people to even make the declaration. He knows his world.
He does know his world very, 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 very well. I get it, but again, societally speaking.
But I think I think it's an important thing to emphasize that side of it,
right?
So
that you're making a difference in the rest of the world. It's not you may not be rocking.
Maybe you're making the difference in the office,
right?
Right? Maybe you're making a difference at the supermarket.
Yeah,
wherever it happens.
You may not be rocking the world of other Jews.
Right.
But you may be helping some people.
Yeah.
And there may be other Jews who don't know that this avenue is open to them in a way that you could provide that knowledge. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm not a Jew. I am not Jewish.
Nope.
And neither are you, Rabbi Gruber. Okay, you are. It's so hard. It's so hard from our perspective to say,
right.
To say you're still Jewish, though you deny that the Torah is from God, and though you deny that there is a God at all. Someday, Rabbi Gruber, we are going to sit down and you're going to explain to me what Judaism gives you. Cultural. I don't know. Okay, fine. Anyway, I'm baffled. It's fine. I don't have to understand everything. It's fine.
You're listening to it. I'm watching it. Dan's head is just blown all over the ceiling and wall.
I don't need those brains. That's fine. I haven't been using them. Well, we have some folks to thank.
We do indeed, Dan.
Our drive, our charity drive is officially over now, but some of the people that we're thanking made it in under the wire, so some of their money will be going to the FFRF.
Indeed.
So that's nice.
Absolutely.
Who you got? I'll start it off because I've actually got somebody who you may not have because they were on the PayPal.
Yeah. Okay.
So thanks to Jim, who is now a faithful PayPal member.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. We have 2 new faithful listeners over on Patreon.
Okay.
We have Troy and Yetimon.
Wow.
We also have a new venerable listener, Lorraine.
Okay, great.
And we have a new beatified listener, Desrea.
Wow.
So thank you guys so much.
Yes, you're all beautiful people.
Yeah, your support goes toward keeping the show alive, keeping it going. And so we appreciate the support. It means a lot. And if you'd like to join
these best people in the world,
these wonderful people, you can go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and click on the support tab, and then there's instructions as to
and then
how
you just
can
give until it
how you can
hurts. Give as much money as you can afford, and then you just ramp that up by one more.
Absolutely. And then we have our top donor to thank, Dan.
Okay.
Our Lord and Savior,
Woo!
Jen.
Woohoo!
I went for brevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one syllable. You can't
Yeah.
do much more than that.
Well, you could draw it out.
Yes.
Draw out the vowel sound.
Sure. But Jen is good.
Jen.
Great.
So thank you, Jen. Your support is amazing, and we really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody who listens and supports the show. Thanks, guys. Daniel.
Yes, sir.
We just finished a year,
And
now we're in another year.
we just, yeah.
And
It feels like the year's just, each year is its own different brand of bitch slap.
lately,
Lately,
for sure. Yeah.
last few years. But some fun things are brewing. Some fun things. I mean, we can look forward and see some interesting things. That Kirsten Sinema just became a senator. Is she a senator?
Senator, yeah.
She was sworn into the Senate today. Her hand lay. This is an openly bisexual woman. She had bare shoulders.
Oh dear God.
She stood in front of grumpy old Mike Pence.
Oh boy.
And put her hand onto a law book.
Nice.
To swear into the to the Senate.
It should be.
Yeah.
I don't know why you have to put your hand on anything.
Yeah, well, because books make your word mean more. I don't know if you know this.
Why not just a duck? You hand Mike Pence a duck. You put your hand on the duck.
Yeah, that would be great. put your hand on any number of things, but
Yeah.
I mean, the number of books that they had to break out to be sworn on was impressive this year. They had Qurans.
Oh my.
They had Tanakh, Jewish Tanakh.
Wow.
They had all kinds of things that they were swearing in on. But let's look backwards, shall we? That's for the future. We'll see if that means anything with all the women and all of the various and sundry
Clothing options.
and religious choices.
And babies on the floor.
Oh, my God. It's a nightmare. It's just a goddamn nightmare. We voted in babies?
That all I can say is, wow, it's gonna get noisy in there.
Yeah. Which will
Babies crying.
yeah.
Who needs that? This isn't church.
Yeah. Well, right.
This is the U.S. Congress.
Yeah. Anyway, looking back, I'm just gonna fully shamelessly piggyback off of an article in the RNS, the Religion News Service.
Okay.
Because they had a lovely retrospective of 2018.
Okay. Yeah.
And I thought I'd remind us of some of the things that we learned in 2018, including the fall of several important religious leaders.
Oh.
Not only Cardinal Pell.
Oh yeah.
Who that was a big one.
That was a big one.
There in Australia, but Theodore McCarrick, another cardinal who was a very important man in the Catholic Church. He was forced to resign from the College of Cardinals and ordered by Pope Francis to lead a life of prayer and penance after having been accused of sexually assaulting a minor 4 decades ago. But you know he did it more than once. Let's be real.
Yeah.
What's his name? Bill Hybels, who was a very well respected pastor of one of the most influential mega churches, the Willow Creek Community Church.
Oh, yeah.
He had to step down because of being accused of sexual harassment and misconduct.
Good riddance.
Apparently, yeah. But they didn't all go down. You remember the royal wedding?
Oh yeah.
Where there was
Did you watch the coverage?
No.
It was amazing.
No,
man.
of course not. But I did watch clips of one Mr. Michael Curry, who gave a fiery American-style sermon at the wedding, and he has now skyrocketed to prominence.
Really?
Oh, yes. He's a big deal now. He was a nobody. But somebody in the royal family liked him. Now he's very important.
All right.
Do you remember the look on the Queen's face when he... Because I don't think she approved of his...
You can't tell. It's always the same expression.
Oh, no. There's that ever so slight disapproval that registers behind the eyes. You can tell.
Okay. All right.
She was not happy.
Fair enough.
Anyway, lots of things happened. There were big shakeups in the Pennsylvania grand jury thing, the Catholics that took down so many Catholics, detailing the abuse of more than 1,000 children by more than 300 priests.
Dear fucking God, yeah.
So that was fun. And other people came and went, blah blah blah. There was that whole business with Kavanaugh. That was he's now a Supreme Court justice.
Oh, I know.
And yes, the Pittsburgh synagogue that was shot up. I'll just run through.
This was a rough year, Dan. I mean,
it was.
I'm like, why are we talking? Like,
it was not.
I want to forget all of this.
Okay, well,
I mean, I don't. You can't, but I want to.
Yeah, Billy Graham died.
Hey, that's a plus.
I guess. I don't know.
It's usually been the policy of this show that we don't dance on graves, with one notable exception being Scalia, where we were like, ding dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah. That's never been my policy.
I feel like we don't dance on the grave.
I don't know. When Boyd Packer from Mormonism, can't say it.
Yeah.
Can't say the word. When he died, I was pretty happy. I think we were pretty gleeful about that.
On the show?
I don't know. Well, let it be known, I was pretty fucking happy about that asshole going down. I don't care. Oh, yeah. I mean, other bad things, the U.S. Supreme Court, now that it's all... I mean, it was already pretty conservative.
No.
It was already siding with Jack Phillips, the Colorado baker.
I know. Now Roberts is the swing vote.
Right? That's not good.
Actually, he's trying to protect the Supreme Court, so it's...
Yeah. So he may actually,
there's going to be some interesting things happening with Roberts, but that's not what we're really talking about.
Right.
So
that same Supreme Court, the Supreme Court also
a very conservative court,
has now ruled that the so-called Muslim ban, which isn't a Muslim ban, it's just a ban of people from very Muslim countries traveling to these United States, that they upheld that as legal.
Yeah. Just the worst.
We lost the Mormons.
Oh, I know.
Because now they're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
They created millions of ex-Mormons with one stroke.
Just right out, just with the stroke of a grumpy pen. Oh my gosh, when they did that was like, I don't know what to make of this current president of the Mormon Church. This current presidency, they're like the feminist thing that we were talking about. That's a big deal, and in a progressive direction. But then, like, don't say Mormon. Brr. And also, like, there's the big asterisk of, like, they're still gay-hating assholes.
Right.
And trans-hating people. And
Right.
that sort of thing. But yeah, it is, that I don't know what to say about it. The Lord told him that they can't say Mormon no more. That's not, well, they can say the word, but that's not the name of the church.
No.
That was Satan's name for the church.
Oh, my God.
Remember, he did say it was a victory for Satan.
Yeah.
That the people were saying Mormon instead of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
It's a victory for Satan every time you say it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Every time.
And let me tell you something, Mormons. Satan's winning.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Because
is winning that.
nobody's going to stop calling you Mormons.
Mormons aren't stopping. They're not. They're still saying Mormons. Of course they are.
They're so disobedient.
Anyway, yeah, they are.
They're not following the admonition of the prophet.
Right? It is a crying shame.
Yeah.
2 Muslim women were elected to Congress. That's good. That's,
I suppose.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It does mean that they had to adjust the rules for headgear on the floor.
Yeah, I think anything that shakes up the Christian dominance and gets the conservative Christians, especially those in Congress, a little flustered and bothered, I think is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Speaking of flustering Christians, that dingbat John Allen Chow, who decided to go and missionary against all of the laws of everywhere to a bunch of people who are not to be contacted.
Right.
He got himself killed.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting story. I hope they all learned a valuable lesson about that, but they didn't.
They didn't. Someone else will try sooner or later.
And they'll just keep missionarying.
Yeah.
So there you go. The Lord's word is important, apparently. Here's one that I wanted to... We never talked about it. I wouldn't have recognized the name. Eugene Peterson died.
Eugene Peterson.
At 85 years old. Now, I wouldn't have known that name, but I do know some of his work, which is that he created the Message Bible.
Oh, okay.
Now, I think I first made you aware of this morning. The Message Bible.
You had read that to me in the past.
Oh, had I?
Point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I became aware of it back when Thank God I'm Atheist was a blog. 1,000 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I had written a blog post about the Lord's Prayer, which we didn't say in Mormonism. So while I was aware of it, I didn't really know anything about it, and I hadn't really read the Bible part of it and stuff. And I stumbled on it when I was reading the Bible, which is a thing that I do sometimes, which is weird. Because why would I read that trash book? Anyway, the Lord's Prayer that people say is not the Lord's Prayer that is in the Bible.
No, that's not true, Dan.
It is true.
No,
because
it's biblical.
in the Bible, in almost all of the translations of the Bible, it doesn't say. So give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our
trespasses,
as we forgive those who trespass against us. Is what I've always heard. That is not what's in the Bible.
What's in the Bible?
Our debts.
Well, that's
forgive us our debts as we forgive those who are in debt to us, or something along those lines.
So, just so you know, Dan, longtime listeners of the show will have heard the exact same exchange between the two of us at some point.
Okay, we already talked about it, but what?
Verbatim.
Okay, fine. Most people haven't gone back and listened to the back catalog. That's fine. We're all okay. What I'm getting to is the Message version.
Yeah. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Of the Lord's
Prayer. I
Prayer.
missed that the first time you brought this up.
Because the Message is a Bible that's not a translation. It is just this guy's crazed version of everything. So he just took some liberties. And now I will read you the Lord's Prayer from the Message version of the Bible.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Which may have also been on the other episode. I don't care. It's too much fun not to say. Our Father in heaven, reveal who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Set the world right. Do what's best, as above, so below. And I think I have to do it in some semblance of a southern accent. I don't know why. Keep us alive with 3 square meals. Keep us forgiven with you and forgiving others. Keep us safe from ourselves and the devil. You're in charge. You can do anything you want. You're a blaze in beauty. Yes, yes, yes.
Amazing.
I love that.
Amazing.
I love that.
Wow.
So go ye. It's any of the Bible resources online that have all of the different versions of the Bible. Mm-hmm. Most of them will have the Message Bible. Go find a passage that you think you know in the Message. It's fun. Anyway, he died.
Oh boy.
So there you go. We had lots of other things happened last year, but it was an interesting year. It was one of those years when I think theocracy in America advanced. Theocracy took some steps forward.
Yeah.
Which is why we decided to try and do a charity drive for the FUFRF.
Yeah.
Because there's not that many organizations out there trying to beat back the advance of theocracy in America.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did do a drive. We didn't try to do a drive. We did drive, Dan.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And we raised some money.
Yes, indeed. We don't know how much yet because we will need to wait and see.
We'll see how much comes actually rolling in.
How much comes in because we said a bunch of them would last through the end of January if they gave right at the end of December. But we'll let you know. Yeah. Anyway, it's still a good thing to do. Go ahead and go join. Go be a member of FUFRF.
Yeah.
Because their banners are advancing. The Christian soldiers are going onward.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can do whatever we can to stop them. Anyway, that's 2018. Let's fart on it and let it go into the ether.
All right.
And we'll go with bright eyes and bushy tails forward into 2019.
Wonderful. It's so exciting.
The year of our Lord, 2019.
2019. And then we finally get a decade.
Yeah, then we can... the teens, you don't even get a full decade of that, because 10, 11, 12, those aren't teens.
No.
But
those are tweens.
We'll be marching toward the roaring 20s coming up.
I know.
Let's roar. It'll be good.
Yeah, I hope something good comes our way soon.
If you have any predictions, by the way, as to what 2019 might hold, you can write to us. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on that like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in. Also, check us out on Reddit.
Yeah.
The subreddit is TGI Atheist.
Yeah, do that. Since we're on the subject of social media, some thanks to Mackenzie. Lots of thanks to Mackenzie for all of her amazing work on the Facebook page. She's amazing. Thanks also to Danny and Amy for their work as moderators in the Members Only Lounge. Thanks to the music. You can do that part.
Yeah, that's the one I normally do.
Yeah, go.
The Red Rock Hot Club. Still letting us use their music after all these years.
Don't tell them.
Guys.
Don't tell them.
And a big thanks goes out to Gordon Johnston, also for the use of his music.
Yes, and thanks so much once more to our patrons. You guys are awesome. Mm-hmm. And thanks to everybody for tuning in.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Ciao.